Today we are going to be talking about narcissism and codependency, but probably not in the way that you think. Most people view narcissists and codependents as polar opposites, and in reality that's just not necessarily true. And today we're going to discuss how narcissists and codependents are similar to each other. If you're new to this channel, I'd like to take a moment and welcome you and invite you to please subscribe and be sure and hit that notification bell because I put out new videos every week. Also, if you are interested in private one-on-one narcissistic abuse recovery coaching with me, please visit my website. It's linked in the description below. So today we're talking about the similarities between narcissists and codependents. Many narratives depict codependent people as victims who fall prey to narcissists or people high in narcissistic traits. And that is true many times. That does indeed happen. However, this is an oversimplification and it neglects to elaborate on the fact that at the heart of both codependency and narcissism is a lack of healthy sense of self, which means there are some very core similarities that need to be understood. Narcissism and codependency are both linked to an undefined and undeveloped self. Oftentimes, narcissists and codependents both really struggle to have a true understanding of who they truly are. Also, people with these conditions often rely on other people to define their own identities. And because of this, they place a tremendous amount of importance on what other people think of them. People with narcissistic personality disorder usually develop a strong, almost exclusive focus on themselves. They usually display a lack of empathy or compassion for the needs of others. Most times they are only concerned about the feelings of others if it has a direct correlation to themselves and what they want or need. As we all know, narcissists are addicted to narcissistic supply that is provided by other people. What is narcissistic supply in its simplest form? The attention of others that makes them feel special. They use narcissistic supply to inflate their sense of self-esteem, and they need constant and continual streams of narcissistic supply in order to feel good about themselves. They are quite literally dependent on narcissistic supply in order to maintain the image of the false self that they have created. Codependents, on the other hand, are hyper-focused on others. They form their identity around serving the needs of others. So both narcissists and codependents are dependent on other people for their sense of self. The difference is narcissists depend on attention from others in the form of love, adoration, and praise, and codependents rely on other people to need them in order to feel good about themselves. However, both of them can be highly manipulative in the ways that they obtain the attention of others that defines the self. Codependents are famous for trying to control other people's behavior because they truly believe that they know what is best for that person. But instead of praise and adoration, which is what the narcissist is after, codependents crave attention in the form of gratitude and a sense of being needed. And both of them rely on other people to provide the sense of being loved and having a sense of worth and even power. So in these respects, narcissists and codependents are actually very similar to each other. In fact, many people these days believe that a codependent is just a nicer name for a covert narcissist. And I consider my mother an extremely controlling codependent, but for quite a while I thought she might possibly be a covert narcissist because they have so much in common. So what are the common denominators for the development of each condition? Both narcissists and codependents are connected to adverse childhood experiences. However, the research shows that narcissism is typically developed from a parent who was verbally abusive, and codependents are developed from parentification, which means a child takes on the role of the parent or caretaker for their parent or siblings. It's a form of pathological enmeshment and is really damaging to the child being exposed to it. Most times the child takes on the role of the parent due to abuse and neglect. However, I do not believe that there is a genetic link for a person to develop into a codependent, but there is a genetic component for the development of NPD. It's believed that the development of NPD is both nature and nurture. However, many times codependency is passed down from one generation to the next because it is role modeled to the child from a caregiver as normal behavior. So people with NPD and codependency have very similar childhood experiences. They have simply developed different ways to adapt. In fact, it's not unheard of for a person who is a narcissist to have a sibling who is a codependent. One sibling may develop a low self-esteem and learn that they are only worth something if they are useful to others, while the other sibling develops an inflated self-esteem as a protective mechanism. The neglect makes this child feel unimportant. So as an adult who develops into a narcissist, they crave and are desperate for constant and continual validation from others to prove their worth. In both cases, trauma and a severely fractured sense of self are at the core of the problem. So narcissism and codependency are not all that different. The truth is the desire to feel needed is not that different from the desire to feel important. Okay, that's going to do it for today's video. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and please subscribe to my channel. Also, follow me on my other social media platforms. The links are in the description below. Thanks for watching, everyone.